Welcome to the Google Developer Group Enugu DevFest 2025. I'm Ortega Alikwe once again, a business developer. I'm equally an artist, a creator, and a community builder. I love jazz, I love birds, I love poetry, and I run the Enugu Jazz Society. I run the Enugu Bird Club. Wrote the Enugu Jazz Society, and I write poetry every now and then. Today, I want to challenge one of the biggest myths in technology, the belief that a great product is enough, which sometimes is true, but the truth is this: technology doesn't create impact. People do. Because people only care about their problems and how they can solve it the best way possible. I'll be speaking on beyond the product, the human API, and the sales ladder in technological development. Now, every complex system needs a way for different parts to talk to each other. In technology, information technology, you really have one monolithic system. You have apps, databases, servers, devices, third-party services, and so on and so forth. These cannot afford to misunderstand each other. They need a common language for interaction, human and machines, because human and machines communicate differently. Now, machines communicate with extreme precision and structure. Humans sadly don't. Therefore, you need a translation layer, an API, which is a structured way for one digital system to request something from another system and receive a predictable, reliable response. Now, I'll start with a quote from Lincoln Murphy. It reads, and I quote, "Customer success is when the customer achieves the outcome they expect or they expected and then discovers an outcome they did not know was possible." And the human is often responsible for this, most times, and not code. I mean, maybe now in the age of AI, but the human connection still matters a lot. The human being that understands the technology and understands the people is the API that connects every stage of product growth. Innovation means nothing without connection. Now, from personal experience, I can say that it's the human layer, empathy, communication, insight that actually drives market domination. And that is what every business guns for. Now, we love branding. We love the clean UI, we love the fresh colors, trendy animations, smooth messaging. I mean, branding is necessary, but branding is only the first handshake. Handshakes, like when we meet in events like the Dev Fest, um, is what the brand experience is like. That's the person. If the person is good enough and piques your interest, then the interest is awakened. Branding lives in the LS state change, where you have moved from stranger to awareness. Branding says, "Hey, look at me, I'm here, remember me." But after that, branding becomes silent. Branding does not close deals. Branding does not retain users. Branding does not turn customers into fans. After branding opens the door, it is a human API that must walk through. Now, why branding alone fails? Now, it's common for people to default to whatever society tells them they should like. I mean, often we assume that the most expensive product must bring the most joy. History teaches us something else. Premium pricing is rarely about higher quality. It is about higher consistency. Although some might argue, the product that will be the same yesterday, today, and forever. I mean, wherever you need it, it's that way. Remember the big pen? We know it writes. It just writes. Now, let me take you back to the United States before the 1850s. Most people never traveled more than a few dozen miles from their birthplace. Life was local, you ate local food, your clothes were sewn by someone you knew, your furniture local, you trust local, and whatnot. Now, records are the same around the world, maybe a bit different in Asia, but we're using the Western point of view here, so I'll stick to that. Now, the Industrial Revolution changed everything. Goods traveled far, people lost connection with makers. This created a crisis. Suddenly, canned food appeared everywhere, but no one knew who made what. Quality was horrendous. Spoilage was common. Harper's Weekly wrote in 1869, "City people are in constant danger of buying unwholesome canned meat. The dealers are unscrupulous, the public uneducated." Then came the William Underwood Company, which you see here. They were just one of the dozen of canned meat suppliers, but they did something revolutionary. They created a logo, a red devil, that customers could recognize. They added a tagline, "Branded with the devil, but fit for gods." For the first time, consumers anywhere in America could identify a consistent product from a consistent producer. They were willing to pay more. Not because it was fancy or it had higher quality, but because it was reliable. Now, branding does not always signal luxury, branding signals consistency. People pay for predictability and sometimes for perfection. But here's the evolution we need to understand. The branding cycle has moved from local trust to corporate trust to global trust and back to local global trust. Now, from the neighborhood seamstress to the global brands back to the seamstress with international appeal, we are not returning to the old world. We are merging both worlds. That is, today's local seamstress is not just local. She's in the local. She has a local spirit which is global in reach and personal in trust. This makes us stronger than both the old seamstress, which has limited reach, and the modern corporation, which has limited authenticity. And this is where the human API matters. While branding has evolved, humans are still the middleware that moves trust, insight, and emotion from the product to the market. Now, the sales ladder. Now, let's walk through the sales ladder because this is where your role as a human API becomes powerful. Stage by stage, human as APIs, you have from the market in the marketing aspect, attention and awareness. It turns strangers to leads, and it requires communication, education, and storytelling. Now, in the from business development point, it requires trust and interaction, and it turns leads to engage prospects. And it requires relationship building, empathy, and negotiation. I mean, over a long period of time, sometimes. The sales side of things, which is usually used as an umbrella, is conversion and growth, and is used loosely. It turns prospects to customers, and it requires problem solving on the go, trust translation, decision facilitation. I mean, to make the deal as fast as possible. Now, the last is customer success, which links back to branding. It deals with retention and domination. It turns consumers to clients and advocates and requires reassurance, onboarding, feedback loops, reliability, and human insight. Now, every wrong depends on the human ability to interpret emotions, needs, fears, and expectations. It literally moves from the stranger to the awareness stage, to the lead, to the engaged prospect, to the customer, to the client, and to the advocate. This is exactly where the local interest advantage appears again. Humans translate product into experience, emotion, and loyalty. Now, the crossover zone is where products win or die. Every brand travels from fear, from aesthetic attraction, which is try me, try me, try me, to evidence validation, which is I walk, I can see I walk, to customer success, which is I care about what you have, then cultural embedding, which is I am the default choice. And now remember big once again. Now, the most dangerous stage is in phase 2 and phase 3. Why? Because aesthetics creates awareness, but customer success creates trust and longevity, and that is where the human API thing is. Onboarding, troubleshooting, feedback loops, future optimization, human reassurance, reliability through failure, and whatnot. This is where and what transforms a buyer into a user, to a believer into an ambassador. Now, when ambassadors sell your product for you, and it does exactly what it says it will do every single time, there you achieve market domination. And that is what every business guns for. Now, the human API, which is real engine of technological growth, now you have to think of the human API as a middleware between technology and society. A great product can exist. Yes, a great brand can exist. But without human interpretation and translation being the keyword, it never grows. Humans have to explain the products, they have to build trust, they have to handle objections, they have to collect insight, they have to spot patterns, they have to advocate for future improvements, they have to carry feedback into engineering. And in truth, technology scales, right? But humans connect. And it's the connection that drives adoption. Now, you can enter tech without coding, right? Now, not every role in tech requires code. Maybe most, but not all. Information technology, which is what I'm focusing on here, sometimes require curiosity, empathy, and analytical thinking. To break into tech without building products, you can't start from customer success. Understand each user's better than anyone else. Now, if you have data analysis, you turn conversations into insights, and insights into features, and features into growth. Before developers see a problem, you see it. Before marketers detect a trend, you feel it. Before trend appears in dashboards, you sense it in conversations. Now, the truth is, people talk, right? If you listen well enough, you get to hear what the problem actually is. And it happens in phases. And this is what makes you a builder even without writing a single line of code. The real innovation is in connection. Branding brings attention, marketing educates, biz dev builds relationships, sales converts, but customer success and the humans behind it, they are the ones that create domination. Now, everyone in the sales ladder is involved in customer success, right? And thinking that, and everyone has to work with that thinking in mind. Customer service should not just be a department, it should be the entire company, because the real innovation isn't just in the code, it is in the connection and in the empathy. Now, I hope that with with Enugu having come this far, 10 years with the Google Developer Group, I really hope that this little interaction can open the eyes of someone to look at the sales side of tech and look to build a career starting from the bottom rung, to understand customers and to find a place that fits you the most, to be able to develop solutions that are personal to people and solve problems that matter. Thank you very much for your time. And if you need to reach out to me, you can always send a message to me on Twitter at Decimate, and I'll be there for you. Thank you very much.